Thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure to be in Kuwait for the first time. The meetings from His Highness the Emir all the way through high-level government officials, incredible women that I met who are in leadership in this country, but also just recently students. And I think in every case there is, of course, an air of concern with where the world is today, but optimism that we can try to find pathways to a more peaceful world, to more constructive responses to climate change, to development. And I think that for us is building on the incredibly privileged relationship that we have with Kuwait, Kuwait's leadership that we've seen in the humanitarian sector, and what we hope will be contributing to the Summit of the Future, which will be at the UN General Assembly this year. It will focus on the new peace agenda, on financial architecture, but also this new era of technology, where of course AI and quantum computing will play a big role. So we discussed a number of subjects, and perhaps the most exciting for me is the women's leadership across business, across civil society, but in particular seeing women lead in government institutions.
Yes. Now, Your Excellency, the world is woefully off track to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by the 2030 deadline. In fact, only 15% of the targets are on track. In your opinion, where does Kuwait's SDG implementation stand, and how does the UN support the country?
Well, we have, you're absolutely right, most countries are off track. Again, the recovery from COVID, the recovery from the impacts of Ukraine all took their toll. And in the case of Kuwait, in many of the goals, you're actually on track. But I would say that perhaps the climate goals are ones that we need to put more attention on. Stronger institutions. Again, this is something we're facing in this new era of different demands from public institutions that need to be more fit for purpose for the next generation of activities. But I believe that our country team that is here will configure itself in a way that has expertise for any of those shortfalls and gaps that Kuwait see on the goals. But you know, for the poverty goals, for the gender goals, for health, education, these are all on track.
Yes. Now, the UN will host the Summit of the Future in September. Can you tell us about this event, and can you tell us how can Kuwait contribute to this important gathering?
Well, the Summit of the Future is a product of member states asking the Secretary Generals after 75 years of the UN, what next? We need to think differently from a system that was designed in 1945. And so we are hoping that three main areas around which we can find outcomes need to be ambitious: to bring trust back in the world, to bring multilateralism back to the center, because working together we will go further. And this new era where we have huge cohorts of young people, the expectations are very high. It will be a world of cities, it'll be a world of young people, it'll be a world of technology. So in the Summit of the Future, the new peace agenda, the financing for architecture for developing countries, and technology. Kuwait's role. It's a time when the geopolitical tensions are very high. There is mistrust amongst nations, fragmentation, a lack of belief that the UN can do something. And so here we think voices of small nations, we have a forum of the small states, I think can bring integrity and credibility to the process and raise the ambition. These are countries that have trust, they have a relationship with the United Nations second to none. So I'm hoping that in the discussions that we had today, we can carry those forward on specific areas. That we will all be struggling to get ambition, because as we said, the world itself today is finding more to disagree on than to agree. So, that's all right, are you ready? First, I would like to say that this visit has really been one that we've had such a warm welcome. It's like my second country. And in particular meeting women and young people, but also the spirit of solidarity with what in the region is atrocities that we see committed in Gaza. And for that, I think that the the Secretary General feels the solidarity in our call for immediate ceasefire and for us to go back to a two-state solution. I think it's important for these voices to be heard, and that for me gives me hope, because within the region there is a voice that is loud and clear about that, and we continue to count on your support as well for the humanitarian support that we need for UNRWA, for the people of Gaza. And after that, I believe that this is the beginning of my journeys to Kuwait, and to say that our business is a work in progress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. Now, do you want the pictures?
Yeah, okay.
You got them? You didn't?